Hello everyone, and welcome to the Pit and Paddock Race Show for the first week of July 2024. And for those of you watching the video version of the show, you'll notice that we've exposed ourselves for the first time in the show's history.
We would have done it earlier, but then I would have had to put pants on.
What? We were supposed to wear pants?
I'll just cut the bottom out.
Oh, okay. Let's start off with Formula One. They were in Austria this week, where the hills were alive with the sound of disappointment as Verstappen finished in a lowly fifth. He had led the race, but then tangled with Norris with 5 laps to go, and both cars ended in tears. Russell, in the Mercedes, was gifted the win, with Piastri in second and Ferrari's Sainz in third. I'm seeing a lot of discussion on who's to blame for this Max Lando crash. What's your view?
Well, before we get to the Max Lando thing, I was reminded, while they're battling those couple of laps, please stop whining on the radio looking for penalties. It's the most annoying thing when I'm watching a race. You've got the two drivers battling, and every single time someone attempts to move, it's did you see that? Oh my god, he got into me, he didn't give me room, he did this. The Europeans have already ruined stick and ball sports with their flopping and whining, and I don't want to ruin racing with the same thing. Just keep your track limit penalties and your air conditioning free houses in Europe. Let's not ruin all the rest of racing with this stuff.
That we don't have track penalties.
No.
Wait, didn't NASCAR have a little bit for COTA?
They did over the S's.
Yeah.
But
IndyCar doesn't have track penalties, do they?
No.
Why do you need track penalties?
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, they tried to fix it with the gravel on, which I think kind of worked pretty well.
Yeah, I like the gravel trap just off the road. That stops you from going over.
Anyway, so I would say Max was aggressively limiting passing opportunities, is what he was doing.
Is that lawyer speak for blocking?
That's European speak for blocking, but it's not a penalty.
He was definitely blocking, especially the last one where they came together. I mean, he moved left at the very last moment to squeeze Lando out.
Yeah, he did.
And people are criticizing Max for his aggressive driving. They're saying he's been doing it, but the past 2 years it's been covered up because nobody's been able to really challenge the Red Bull, so he hasn't had to block.
No, he's been doing it forever. Especially the Hamilton years. Him and Hamilton would get together about every time there was a challenge for the lead, it seemed like.
Didn't we used to call him for crashing?
Yes.
He would torpedo people.
All he has to do is get, a massive lead, and everything's perfectly fine. And we're a very respectful driver then.
Oh, then he's the greatest driver ever. At least for this year. 2 years ago, Lewis was the greatest driver ever.
If I'm not going to keep the lead, no one's getting the lead. This was quite the strategy.
Well, Lando was, 8 seconds behind, and it looks like the pit stop where Verstappen had a slow stop, like a 4-second pit stop.
Yeah.
That gave Lando the opportunity to catch up. But if it wasn't for that slow Red Bull pit stop, would Lando have ever caught him?
I think he would have, but I don't know if he would have had enough time to get by him, or enough time to get crashed by him. Either way you want to look at it.
It seems like the McLaren gets faster towards the end on low fuel, but the Red Bull's faster early on heavy fuel.
Yeah, he's got to get that early lead. And then that was kind of a rare mistake too by the pit crew. You don't really see that much from Red Bull.
Oh yeah, Red Bull's like one of the best crews ever. Well, it was another horrific weekend for Leclerc, getting hit by Pastry on the opening lap and ultimately finishing 11th out of the points. Has he earned the unlucky title?
I think he's close, but I think a lot of that is on Ferrari too, like his bad finishes, bad strategy, it seems, but kind of both.
Well, they made 3 stops. One to change the broken wing, and put him on hard tires. Then they brought him in and took him off hard tires and put him on medium tires. And then they brought him in again for I have no idea why.
That's fun. Maybe you want to just look at your car. It looks pretty cool. I mean, I don't know what the thinking is on that one.
Because it's Ferrari.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
We all know Ferrari's famous for great strategy, in-race strategy decisions.
Not every year.
Well, Carlos was lucky to get third. Ferrari was just not that great for the past 3 races. People are saying that the upgrades that they brought to Spain are turning out to be downgrades for the car.
Maybe, or everyone else is just improving more. Their cars tend to drop back as the season goes on.
Yeah, that happened the first year of the Formula. Everybody thought Ferrari was the car to beat, and after they came back from the break, it was Red Bull.
I feel like they always waste their good cars with terrible strategy and throw away the races like that.
Well, on to another high-speed track next week. That's not going to help them.
No, I don't think so. Unless, maybe Max will take out half the field.
That would be interesting. Hey, in good news, Italian guy was back as guest commentator for Formula One TV. This dude is the epitome of what an Italian man looks and sounds like.
This was my favorite part of the weekend when I saw him show up on practice. He's like, "Guy, you touch of the sausage, you get in trouble."
Yeah, he makes me want to jump over barrels thrown by a gorilla.
I should have looked up his name, because every time he comes up, I forget what his name is.
I bet you it's got an EOD at the end or something like that.
Yeah, he makes me want to start a tractor company and then randomly start making supercars.
He makes me afraid some guys are going to come to our studio and demand protection money.
He makes me want to be the least powerful member of a military coalition.
He makes me want to buy a Vespa.
He makes me want to take air conditioning out of my house and then complain about the temperature when it's in the mid-80s.
He makes me want to enjoy terrible race strategies. Well, any more Italian jokes?
Yeah, but I'm gonna tuck those away for when I'm not on camera, I think.
Okay. I was gonna do one about the Italian job, but I thought it would probably get us demonetized. It was a really big weekend for Haas. The American team managed double points. I don't know if they've ever done that in the past 3 years.
It's been a while.
6 for Hulkenberg and 8 for Magnussen.
It's kind of a Haas pre-4th of July celebration.
At least somebody had a 4th of July celebration going on.
I mean, even without the Max Lando incident there, they both would have finished in the points anyways.
I guess you could call that fireworks. Max Lando. That was fireworks.
That's a fun name to say, Max Lando.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Aren't they like really besties or something?
Well, I guess they were.
They were besties?
I don't know how that's going.
Like BFF besties? Or?
I think they just grew up together racing.
Even without the Max Lando affair, Haas still would have had both teams in the points at 10th and 8th.
That's a pretty solid run.
Yeah, it still would have been a miracle. Some of the talking heads did say that Haas tends to go well at Austria.
Let's see. Have they? I don't remember last year, but...
Last year they ended last. But they did have a few points. Austria might have been some of the points.
Oh.
Another terrible weekend for Perez, the other Red Bull driver. He finishes 7th, leaving Democratic donors calling for him to step aside.
At least he can still speak coherently.
Yeah, mostly. His accent's not that bad. Yeah. How does he stay in that seat with as bad as he's doing?
I don't know.
Like, he's further behind his teammate than Stroll.
Did they just cash in that they're going to get the owners' championship? Because not if he keeps finishing out of the points.
Oh, well, I mean, sources are saying that the owners, or constructors, they call it constructors.
Oh, that's right.
We're in Europe. The constructors' championship is up for grabs. Max will probably still get drivers, but drivers' championship pays $0.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything. You get a nice little trophy, I guess.
Yeah, you get a trophy, but But yeah, it doesn't. The constructors championship pays all the money. That's the one they're going for. That's why Mags is, willing to commit war crimes to help his teammate get a point. So the FIA, what does that stand for?
Something in French?
Yeah, that's right. It means like racing organization in French, right?
Yes.
So the FIA used a new AI system to track driver limits in Austria. The system was considered a failure after it began penalizing drivers for their social media posts.
I heard they finally pulled the plug when it sent someone back in time to kill Max's mother.
I've never seen pictures of Max's mom. Like, I tried to find it. I'm like, his dad's homely, so he's got to have like a supermodel mom who's really tall.
I don't see her around the track. I think they're all hidden with the early pictures of Macron's wife.
For all our non-European listeners, there's a conspiracy theory that French President Macron is gay and married to a biological man who transitioned to a woman in the 90s because no one can find pictures of her as a woman before, I don't know, like 92 or something.
YouTube strike number 1. There it is.
Crazy conspiracy theory that we do not support in any way. We're just reporting. Driver report. Aston Martin, unsurprisingly, confirms Lance Stroll as one of their drivers until 2026. They later reported that was a typo. He's actually confirmed until 2046.
Oh, I mean, even Stevie Wonder saw that one coming.
Helen Keller could see that it would happen.
Trump said it was the worst racing decision maybe ever.
Biden said Stroll just had a bad race, but he's a great driver behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah, you just have to talk to him behind the scenes, and then he's got everything going perfectly.
Between the hours of 10 and 4, he drives really well.
That's generous. Let's see what else we got. Gasly signed a multi-year contract with Alpine. I always want to say Alpine. Sorry.
It's Renault. Why can't they just say Renault?
I don't know. They say they want to make sure the team is just French enough to keep losing races. That's about right.
Carlos Sainz still hasn't chosen a team. Our sources say he's holding out for someone that will give him a lifetime supply of Nutella.
That's worth it.
That stuff's hard to get in certain parts of the world.
The Yuki Tsunoda was fined $43,000 for calling other drivers effing retards over the radio. I don't know why. That's hilarious. It's okay when Yuki does it, I guess, because he's so small.
Well,
is that correct?
Yeah, he could have avoided the fine if he would have called them climate change denier retards.
Oh, yes, of course he would have.
Then there was no fine. What are the chances that Perez gets booted at the end of the season and they give the other Red Bull seat to Ricciardo? Because I'm hearing, Christian Horner likes him, and he's got to be able to do at least as good as Perez has been doing. I mean, come on.
He hasn't even really done that much in the RB car, but I don't think he really would deserve to get that seat. He should be ahead of Yuki. Well, the first half of the season he was not doing as well, but he's gotten a little better. But the whole team's kind of taken a step back. The RB cars.
You think Ricciardo's gonna be gone at the end of the season?
I kind of do. I don't think they're gonna keep him.
Well, Perez has been off the podium for the last 6 races, like not even in the top 3. Max has been on 8 of 11 podiums, and 7 of those were wins. That's a big drop from your teammate. I'm thinking, Mazepin probably could have done better than Perez has been doing.
Stroll to the Red Bull?
Stroll to Red Bull.
What?
Only if his dad writes a check. Red Bull doesn't need anybody's money, though.
They're good.
They got a little bit of cash set aside. Grading the race, I'm giving it 8 out of 10. I mean, it was looking like another boring Max race, but it was saved by the Max Lando affair. That made it fun.
Trademark. Max Lando affair. It sounds like a movie.
The Max Lando affair.
I'm going to go 7 out of 10, because up until then the race was kind of But
yeah.
better than your normal Max getaway, but Yeah, the end really saved it. That made it pretty interesting.
Thanks, Lando.
Okay, good work, everybody.
Next race is this weekend, July 7th, the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. 3.6 miles, 52 laps, 190-mile race. Isn't this considered the oldest? Or no, Monaco's still the oldest.
Yeah, this one is close.
Britain is like the second oldest.
Should be a lot of cheers for Max there. I'm sure he'll be super popular.
Oh yeah, they love Max in England.
He went from hitting Lewis to hitting Lando. Everyone.
All right, so what do we see in Britain? More people with Lewis Hamilton shirts and hats, or more Lando shirts and hats?
I think we're making the Lando switch at this point. He's doing the best right now.
I'd like to see a report. Let's call Will Buxom and tell him to do a poll and see who's got more supporters, Max or Lando. Or, I mean, Lewis or Lando.
Yeah, what have you done for me lately?
Exactly.
Lando. All right, let's jump on to NASCAR, where the weather was once again an issue. It's becoming a habit on the NBC races. So after the rain delays and the 43 overtime restarts, Joey Logano somehow managed to run 900 miles on one tank of fuel, like he's Scott Dixon or something, and won the 6 hours of Nashville.
Yeah, it's an interesting amount of fuel in that Penske car.
Weird.
How did they Did they remember in the old days they would make the fuel line from the motor to the gas tank have lots of like a concertina wire up there to get an extra gallon?
I remember the days of thunder. Get you an extra like 2 gallons of fuel in your fuel line.
Yeah.
Interesting that it is the Penske car that had a lot of extra fuel. Weird.
Penske surprisingly, or I should say mysteriously, stretches their fuel farther than anybody.
Good for them. Also, which was interesting, his left side tires, he ran half of the entire race with those on. I don't really know why the tires don't fall off, but once again, tires that last forever being an issue.
I'm going to say the Penske engineers wrote some new code for tire wear. Push to save.
So the race, well, the first 2 stages were average. I'm not going to say super exciting. Nothing interesting happened. You get Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, and Denny Hamlin, I feel like, are always the top 3 in stages 1 and 2 of every race for some reason.
Yes.
If that, just off the top of my head. So at lap 137, I think that was into stage 2, we got a hour and a half rain delay.
The monsoons are just following NASCAR.
Yeah, they need, at least they added rain tires for things now, so hopefully we can get things going faster.
Apparently listening to spotters is popular. What's up with all the spotter
I
radio?
saw that. They jumped onto they had the camera there up showing the spotter stand, and, well, who was it? Logano's spotter, I think, talking.
Last week, yeah, they had Logano last week. He sounded like he was an auctioneer getting rid of some sheep. And then this week they had, I feel like they had 3 different spotters.
Interesting.
They were following. I don't really care that much what the spotter says unless it's funny.
No, I don't notice it on TV. When I'm at the track, I'll listen to it here and there just to get a feel for what's going on. But apparently they're trying to interesting up the broadcast a little bit.
When you have a boring first and second stage.
Yeah.
Throw some spotters in. You know what's better? When they throw crowd shots in. I mean, you can do some great crowd shots.
They probably told him to cut that down. Fox did it all the time and was like, can we show the race and not Tom, who's had 43 beers today and is like half shirtless and passed out?
Do like a mullet watch.
That's probably during commercial. The camera guys are keeping track of the mullets.
Oh, the camera guys are finding any hot chick in the crowd and trying to get it on there. But yeah, they could do a mullet watch. They could do people falling, trying to get out of their seat watch. You've seen how tightly those seats are packed at racetracks. You can barely move.
They've gotten better at Phoenix, at least.
Barely. At least they don't have actual bleachers anymore.
Oh, God. So bad.
They were metal, too, so in the late race, those things were like a griddle.
Let's see what happened next. I think it was lap 207 when NBC decided to drop coverage of the race for people running around a lot or something. I don't know what it was. I'm scrambling to find out where the rest of the race is at, and of course, God forbid you put a NASCAR race on Peacock, which would make sense. I don't know. They had to go to the NBC Sports app or something to find it.
Wait, I thought they got rid of the sports app and it was just Peacock now.
The website, the sports.
Oh, okay.
So they got the sports app and Peacock. Like, what? Get rid of the sports app and just have Peacock as your backup. I don't know.
So they didn't even tell you where it was going. They just left for.
It just cut away on my DVR'd channel.
Oh, that's the replay on the Fox app. You can just watch the whole thing.
Yeah, that makes it better. So after all, well, once I got back racing, Christopher Bell spun out on lap 72, pretty much ending his chance at the win. And then, well, it was looking like a good finish. Like the last 20 laps, Chastain and Hamlin were battling pretty well until Chastain slipped up and Hamlin took off. Looked to be headed to another boring Hamlin win, which they all are, until Austin Cindric spun out with 2 to go, starting the first of 5 overtime restarts. Overtime restarts.
Is that a record?
Yes, I believe that is the record.
I was feeling like it was 7 restarts.
I am glad I watched later and could fast forward, or else
Yeah.
I can't imagine sitting through that one live. So, let's go through all these exciting restarts here. After the first restart, Larson wrecks Chastain. Yellow flag. Next restart, a bunch of people just crash because it's fun.
There was a lot of people crashing out of restarts.
I'm wondering if some people were running out of fuel and some people are just terrible drivers, and probably all of that mixed together.
At least one was because some guy ran out of fuel, and when he got on it, his car didn't go, and he got smacked from behind. And
I think that the next restart, it was Kyle Larson runs out of fuel and causes a bit of a stack up. And then the last restart, Josh Berry spins out, and that was it. Finally, the end of the restarts.
How are you supposed to know that you have to keep that much extra fuel in the car?
You're not, unless somehow Joey Logano. Maybe he had a gas tank in his car and was just topping it off in there. Is it like his water? He went without water, and it's just an extra few ounces of fuel to pour in.
He's got like a little funnel down there by his feet, like he's trying to fly across the Atlantic in the spirit of St. Louis.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting to watch all the crashes. Felt like I was watching a bowling game.
Pretty much. I mean, I like the overtime. I hope it doesn't go to 5 every week, or else we're gonna have to start figuring something out. But okay, let's keep that average down to 1 or 2 max from now on out.
After 3 overtimes, you go to a shootout, something like that.
Rock paper scissors, demolition derby with the top 3. Something fun.
In sprint cars, they let everybody stop and put more fuel in the car.
Yeah.
And then they keep position, and then they restart. I was thinking that's what they were going to do after that. The guys started running out of fuel.
Nah, let them run out. It makes it more interesting.
Yeah.
And they don't have live pit stops for the sprint cars either. So that's kind of a different... So I could probably be fine if Hamlin, Bell, or Logano never win another race. Every race they win, I feel like is boring.
Oh yeah, Logano got the George Russell win.
That's exactly what happened.
Just avoid all the carnage, and you could win the race.
That's better than a Danica Patrick win, I guess. So, this one was really kind of depressing for me. Due to the Build Back Better economy of the last 3 years, Hooters has closed many of its locations and will no longer be sponsoring the number 9 car.
That's devastating news. I mean, Hoover's such a fine dining experience.
I have never had a bad experience at Hooters. Oh, they serve food there, huh?
Yeah, they have wings or something.
News to me.
I bet they have fried stuff too.
Oh, that's how you know it's good. Hopefully Twin Peaks is available and looking for sponsorship because we can't keep that 9-car empty.
My man Gilligan wrecked in the 7th overtime. I think he was caught out by his generator livery, and if he would have had the Peanuts livery, he probably would have been okay and maybe been in the top 5.
Yes, or Pickle.
Oh yeah, Pickle.
Pickle's
That's
the one now.
That's a good one too.
Paint schemes this week. I found them generally unimpressive. The Stenhouse in the 47 had some kind of tropical beach location all over it, and then there was a sandwich on the hood. So both of those are good. I like beaches and sandwiches, so.
Is that what that was supposed to be? A sandwich?
It was a sandwich.
Oh.
I don't know what the beach has to do with the sandwich. Maybe it was, I don't know. I could have looked at the car more than just sandwich and beach, I guess.
Oh, okay. I thought it looked like a cat's butt or something. I didn't know what it was.
Sponsored by a litter company?
Yeah.
Just a
Stick a cat's butt there. I'm going to stick with the number 10 Winchester car because I didn't see anything better. It still needs a gun pick on it somewhere. Or even like a bullet or a shotgun shell.
Yeah.
Something that shows that it's an actual firearm. You know, they do sell firearms. If you look at the paint job, it looks like they sell stars or stripes or something.
Yeah, they should add some pictures of firearms on there.
Yeah.
I guess if I had to pick second car, probably Chastain in the 1. He had some sort of red, white, and blue musical Nashville type theme. That was pretty decent.
Oh, because they were in Nashville. So
Nashville.
I'm going to do the guitar.
I did see a few with guitars on them.
Yeah. Original.
I wish the Meat and Bone car was still there.
Oh yeah, what happened to the Meat and Bone car? Well, I'm going to call out Suarez in the number 99 Tootsie's car. What the hell was Tootsie's?
I think it's a bar in Nashville, but that car sure is purple.
At first I thought it was like Tootsie Roll car, and I was going to be like, yeah, Tootsie Roll car, because, you know, they do have purple Tootsie Roll things.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, but
Weird
no,
colored
it was
ones.
just Tootsie's, which, wasn't that an 80s movie about some cross-dressing dude?
Dustin Hoffman?
Yeah, Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Apparently it's a bar downtown Nashville, but...
Yeah, like that was back when it was bad to cross-dress. Now it's just like, oh, whatever, another cross-dresser.
Where were all the Star Spangled cars? Are they waiting for next weekend? 4th of July, or?
I guess. Like, what weekend do you consider the 4th of July weekend? The one after?
It's on a Thursday, so I would kind of
Yeah.
bundle that into the whole weekend, I guess.
Oh, do you think at Silverstone they're going to have 4th of July celebration?
I will. We have to rely on Logan Sargent for that.
Ooh.
His one time to get a podium.
Come on, Logan.
Logan, win the race.
Step it up. Do something. Maybe he'll have like a sticker on his car somewhere that says, you know, Yay America.
No, the Europeans shut that down.
I was in Rome one 4th of July. I was gonna run around the piazzas with sparklers, yelling, "Happy Birthday, America!" But they don't sell sparklers in Rome.
Would the place catch on fire?
Oh yeah, probably.
Oh.
You know what else wasn't in Rome? Starbucks. Not a single Starbucks in Rome.
Man, how did they get their overpriced crappy coffee?
Oh, there's overpriced crappy coffee every single, like the post office has got a little espresso bar. Every place has got espresso and gelato and pizza, which they don't call pizza. I think it's like Italian pie or something. But they cut it with scissors. Like if they get a square one, they'll cut you a piece with these scissors.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Not big fans of the deep dish, are they?
Nope, I didn't see any deep dish.
Hmm.
But
Oh.
lots of espresso.
Well, speaking of deep dish, NASCAR is headed to downtown Chicago street course next week.
Ooh, I've not actually seen that one yet.
No?
So I'm looking forward to that.
It was pretty interesting last year. 2.2 miles. And I think it's one of the shorter races, 75 laps, 165 miles long.
That's about like what Indy cars usually do, about 150
I think they do. It's
for a street
190?
course?
Well, F1 does about 190.
Okay.
Indy cars are from about that, maybe a little more, but they're a little slower than Indy cars. So
Yeah.
last year at Chicago, there was a torrential downpour. They started the race on wets, and transition to
Ooh.
dries
Oh, I like it.
throughout the race.
But it's a prescribed transition, right? You don't
No.
have to change when you want?
At the road courses, they'll call it wet, and after the initial call, it's whatever you want to do.
Okay.
Unlike the oval rain tire thing that they had a couple weeks ago.
So if you're Gilligan, you can take a shot and maybe it'll get you up or you'll crash into the wall.
I don't know if it's a chance of rain this week, but that would make it a little more fun.
Well, it's rained at every other race. Why not this one?
No, the one that won't actually stop the race is the one that's not going to rain at.
Hey, everybody loves a wet race on road courses. Makes it more interesting.
Yeah.
All right, on to IndyCar, where there was no racing last weekend, leaving Penske drivers unable to cheat at something.
I don't know, NASCAR. I guess they jumped over.
Oh yes, they did the NASCAR so they could cheat over there. Okay.
So IndyCar is going to be introducing their new hybrid engine at Mid-Ohio next week, which marks the first time a national organization made a major change mid-season since, I don't know, Italy in World War II or the Cardinals in 2022, I think.
Was that the year they won like all the first 5 games and then they lost every game afterwards?
Yes, they were like 8 or 9-0 and then just died into the playoffs.
I've never seen a team in any sport implode that bad in my life.
Only the Cardinals can do something that awful.
Yeah. And has it gotten... Wait, have they done any better? No. They're still at the bottom.
No, absolutely not.
That's what we're used to. In completely unrelated news, Team Penske donated a team of software engineers to help fine-tune the new hybrid engine's push-to-pass system.
Oh. Well, if I couldn't think of a group more qualified to fine-tune the push-to-pass system than Penske.
So there's a new driver coming next week, Showery? Is it Showery? Like,
Showery?
I'm going to take a showery when I get home from the gym?
What's the weather like out there? It's a bit showery.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that would work.
All right, so Showery will get his first IndyCar start next week for Dale Coyne Racing, replacing Luca Giotto. Guillotine.
Gallardo? Giotto.
Which, anyway, most IndyCar fans are like, Luca who?
I don't know. He sounds Italian, I would say.
I didn't even remember his name. So, but I barely remember Dale Coyne, so.
Well, I feel like until recently, I feel like Dale Coyne was always bringing in a new driver like every other week for some reason or another.
Whoever came up with money that week.
That's it right there. Okay, well now a new segment. It's our weekly. No, actually we should make it a daily Hero McLaren driver update. Today's update is next season Alex Rossi is going to be out of the seat, replaced by Christian Lundgaard.
Rossi is my youngest daughter's favorite.
Oh, I don't know where he's going, but he's out at McLaren.
He's feeling pretty sports car to me.
He had, what did he get, an Indy and a couple wins with Andretti in the Napa car, and not a lot since then.
Yeah, he has. Whereas Lundgaard is not afraid to lunge.
He will take a lunge at you.
Wow. Well, I can't wait to see who's going to be driving the McLaren cars next week.
We'll find out. Stay tuned. I can't. Whole 4 new drivers. Pato out for someone.
Yeah. Well, we do have a race next weekend, Mid-Ohio. We made fun of Ohio last week, didn't we?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's Ohio. You can make fun of them every week.
Yeah, it's kind of cheap shots.
Yeah.
Too easy.
I was in Michigan at a place that makes everything cherry, like cherry milkshakes and cherry pies and cherry soda. And
sounds delightful.
I was waiting to check out, and some lady was checking out, and the checker was like, "Oh, where are you from?" And the lady said, "Oh, we're from Ohio." And the lady said, "Oh, Border Patrol's not working this week, huh?"
I'm sensing a rivalry between Michigan and Ohio for some reason.
Yeah, there's some bad blood between those two that goes back before football even. And you can't... I still haven't figured out what you call Michigan people. They argue between Michiganders, which sounds like a goose, and
I like that one.
Michigonian, I think.
Michiganites.
I like Michiganites. It's got kind of a biblical feel to it.
Oh, it's all right.
I'm going to push for it to catch on. Michiganites.
Ganders is out. That one's dumb.
I also learned that Michigan University's colors are not blue and yellow.
Is it gold?
It's maize. You have to say maize.
Oh, shut up.
If you don't say maize, then bad things will happen to you in certain parts of Michigan. You go to the more working class area and they don't care, but if you go around Ann Arbor, then you have to say maize.
Yeah, okay. It's yellow. Finally, I guess, other racing news. The Extreme E series is transitioning from electric to hydrogen-powered cars, to which most people replied, the what now?
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people are watching Extreme E racing. I don't know why they're going to hydrogen in the first place, but it's supposed to be like I think it's like a hybrid where they're gonna have like a hydrogen motor, but then it charges a battery to run the electric motors that make the car go. I don't know, something like that.
That's the rally style off-road series, the Extreme E, right?
Yeah, it's like rally cars, but electric.
That would make more sense to have the hybrid style engine. At least you can go a little bit further.
Yeah.
But so their name's going to change to Extreme H.
Yeah.
Which is a little too close to Preparation H, I think.
It's like a step up from Preparation H. Extreme H. It sounds like the whole thing, like why would you suddenly decide to switch from electric to hydrogen after your whole purpose was to show that, hey, electric cars are the future. But, now we're going to go to hydrogen. It sounds like the manufacturers were the ones driving it.
If they're going to throw all this money at it, they want it to actually be useful for them.
Really, who's going to drive a hydrogen car?
Where do you fill up your hydrogen cars at?
I don't think you can fill it up. You'd have to have like a robot do it or a professional. And hydrogen is really expensive to make into a form, like a liquefied form that you can move it around.
Oh.
It's either liquefied or it's going to be at high pressure. And if it's liquefied, then you got to have some kind of pump to make it into a gas. And I don't know where that's coming from.
Has there ever been any sort of issues with hydrogen gas used as a fuel, or perhaps in an airship?
Like a big German blimp?
Yeah.
That was made with hydrogen? Yeah, there's no way that could go bad. Oh, and we're going to race really hard where we might crash. So having a hydrogen fuel cell is not a problem.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll see how that works. Actually, I probably won't see how that works. I'll just read about it. That was my other Penske news.
Yeah.
Not Extreme E, Formula E.
Formula E.
Formula E.
Another series that's taking off around the globe.
Yes.
Yeah.
The DS Penske Formula E team was penalized for cheating.
A Penske team was cheating? No.
I read that and was suddenly excited to lay onto Penske a little bit more. They were fined 5,000 euros, which...
What's that in real money?
No one cares.
Okay.
And they lost a personnel pass.
What does that mean?
They one less crew member for the week.
Was it the guy that was cheating?
Probably.
Oh.
So, honestly, I was fully prepared to just lay into Penske after hearing this, but then I found out what the penalty was for. It said a junior member of the team was found to be noting tire selections of other teams during practice.
Don't they show you that on the screen anyway?
What?
How is that cheating?
Noting tire selections. Isn't that like a standard practice of what the tires people... I don't know. I
can log onto the app and it tells me in real time what tires each team has used anyway. How is that cheating?
There's just a guy over here like, hard. You, out. That's a fine. What? I don't know. I can't pile on Penske for a penalty noting tire selections. I don't know. That's actually retarded. So
maybe they're just trying to get even with Penske for cheating in IndyCar.
I don't know what's going on there.
I'm still waiting for the special counsel to be appointed to investigate the Penske cheating scandal.
Penske looked into it and they said it's handled.
Oh, that's right. The owner of Penske also owns IndyCar.
Uh-huh.
And Indianapolis 500.
Well, they set down their crew members for the month of May and won the Indy 500 anyways.
Their crew members got a timeout, and that was enough for cheating to win a race.
We're all good.
Yeah. All right, that's it for this week. Next week, Dan won't be in studio, but he is going to be undercover at an undisclosed location. So tune in for his clandestine report.
Yeah, sounds super exciting.
Yeah. You remember where you're supposed to go, right?
No idea.
Okay.
I'll just go somewhere.
Well,
I'll just wander around the back room a little bit.
Oh, I just wanted to say clandestine.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can't tell you where I'm supposed to go then.
Yeah. Ken, he's got. If you get caught, I think if you get caught, you get thrown in like a Turkish prison or something.
Pass.